Welcome back to another episode of Eagles Weekly. Here are your hosts, Brett, Haas, Mac, and Jack. How we feeling, fellas?
All right, welcome back, guys. We got Eagles Weekly episode 44. I got Jack B. It's the Mac and Jack show, except it's Jack Bergamini. So great to have you, Jack. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Mac. Excited to be here. A lot of stuff to talk about in the offseason.
We got portal window closed. We got Bill O'Brien's presser from the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we also have B-ball. Back-to-back
basketball, no offensive coordinator, a lot of things going on.
Yeah, lots of stuff's going on.
Yeah.
I guess we'll start off with. Do you want to start off with the presser from Bill?
Sure. Yeah, I mean that was kind of the big thing that happened this week, right? You were there. Do you want to kind of give us the full rundown? So this is what I was wondering, Mac. You're probably there waiting, right? And then the news breaks that the offensive coordinator Will Lonning's out. What kind of take me through what that was like?
Dude, it's so funny. So I was like one of the first ones to get to Fish Field House, and I'm just waiting there, twiddling my thumbs, and then all the rest of the BC media comes along, and then I literally saw AJ Black's tweet, and I was like, wait, did they just get rid of Will Lonning? And then I showed it to like all the guys, like what? Why did they just break this? Right before the presser, which I guess was maybe by design. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that was definitely like the news of that day. And we're just like, okay, this is something good to ask him. But yeah, basically, we go into the presser. Bill kind of opens it up, just going down the 26 incoming freshmen. It's now 27, I believe, or not freshmen, incoming portal guys that they picked up.
Yeah.
Which is for me. Significant roster turnover, pretty much a full roster turnover at this point, to be honest.
It's like 30, 40 guys, right?
Yeah, it's going to be 27 from the portal. I think they have 8 freshmen already on campus.
Yeah.
Then they have another 15 or so coming into the springtime. So you're going to see about 45-ish basically new players coming into this. So like you have a new team coming in. So which is bizarre. And I kind of asked him that question in the presser because it's like it's not like your normal third year. I think everyone still thinks of college football as, okay, you have your first year, your second year, and then your third year, you have all your guys. You've developed your guys. It's like, it doesn't work like that anymore. Like, I mean, there's massive, I think this is the new norm too. And for BC fans, it always was retain. Like we're able to retain Steve Flowers, we're able to retain Zion Johnson, like all these good BC players. And now I think for the first time we're now here, like in the reality of the transfer portal. And you saw that this portal window where you have like 30 guys left, 27 guys came in. So Bill goes into each one of the players, and then we asked them a few questions. To be honest, Bill to me, it was I appreciate that he spoke to us for over 30 minutes. So
that's the longest presser in BC football history.
Pressers I've ever been to. And it's cool. Same. Like I got like 3 or 4 questions in.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that stuck out to me was he looked exhausted, to be honest. And I mean, rightly so. Like he was probably not sleeping for like 2 weeks. And the thing that stuck out to me was he talked about the portal. I even asked him about how different as a coach now you're having to deal with the portal. And he actually gave like a lot of thoughts on that, like which makes sense, wanting to have the portal outside of the college football season. It really doesn't make any sense. If you're going to have
not at all.
If you're going to have 1-2 week portal window, why would you put it during the college football playoffs and during the bowls? Like it doesn't make any sense.
And he mentioned this during the presser, like guys are actively in the portal, still playing on the same team. It's like, well, that is utter nonsense.
I think there was like a guy in a bowl game that was playing.
There was multiple.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like that was nuts to me. But he kind of went into that a little bit. Also, I do agree with him. The idea, like, it makes sense to do it in the spring because, like, you could see, like, every team scrambling. Like, they don't have a full off season to do the research, to
Mhm.
go, like, pretty much those 2 weeks, I bet, like, Bill and the staff are just scrambling. Like, it's not like, yeah, the players come to campus and maybe you get to meet their family, but, like, you have to make hard, quick decisions in those 2 weeks. And honestly, it's pretty impressive that they got 27 players out of it. Time will tell as far as, and that was kind of the mantra of what he kind of talked about. That was my biggest takeaway. He kept saying, "Time will tell. Time will tell." It's not like
Yeah.
he was going to confidently go in there and be like, "Hey, we did a full roster turnover. We're going to be, winning 6+ games next year." I think the reality is, and I agree, time will tell with these players. But
Mhm.
again, we can go into the roster a little bit in a second, but I think overall I enjoyed the talk by him, the media availability, and yeah. Was there anything in that stuck out to you though, Jack? I know you watched it as well.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going off what you said, there was almost, if that presser was meant to make fans or media or people who follow the team more confident in the ability of the team, it did not do that at all because I don't think Bill, as you said, I don't think Bill's even confident himself. He has no idea like what these guys are capable of. He's
Yeah.
clearly frustrated by the whole process of having to get 30, 40 new guys. He's clearly kind of annoyed that he lost maybe like Reed Harris or Turbo or guys he probably wished
Yeah.
and thought and should have come back. Maybe not should have. They probably got a lot more money than BC was offering. But yeah, he looks really frustrated, which I mean, understandably so. But yeah, there was that the presser did not make me feel like he's confident in the team. It didn't make me personally feel confident in the team. And yeah, time will tell, as Bill said.
Yeah.
Which
It was interesting though, because it's interesting that you think that he was kind of like defeated because he looked exhausted to me, but like honestly, like he kind of, that vibe was of like, man, not only am I exhausted, but like the fact that I have to deal with it. Like he mentioned a few times in the presser too. It's like I like I think people asked him like, did you expect this? Like as a head coach, that was one of my questions.
he
Like,
said no, yeah.
and he was like, no, and it's a massive adjustment, and it's I mean, again, like this is every head coach. It's not excuse. Like literally every program's dealing with this. But it definitely seems like that's tough. Like if you're a player, especially if you're a coach that's like, I developed quarterbacks, and look what happened. He brought in like multiple quarterbacks last year. They
They're
all
gone.
left, right? And now, I mean, that's the biggest question mark coming from this portal window is that, okay, you brought in 2 quarterbacks. You also have a freshman quarterback, Femi Babalo, coming in.
Yeah.
But like they're all brand new. So it's like you definitely can tell that frustration. And like, I mean, even his answer, one of the media members asked, like, did you have any thoughts about leaving BC?
Yeah, no, Kevin asked that. Kevin Stone, great question at the end there.
Exactly. Kevin asked, and he was like, I have a 5-year contract. And
I know.
it was a really interesting answer because, like, normally
he did say that he obviously loves the school, loves these guys, but the first thing out of your mouth to be, I have a 5-year contract. That's not, and I don't want to like think for Bill here, obviously, but that doesn't give the best impression. It's like, okay, I'm just like contractually obligated to be here. Like I know he went on to say, oh, I love these guys, love the school, but it makes it seem like okay, he's signed up for something. Like he's kind of part of something he didn't sign up for, which he's kind of alluded to, and now he's stuck here. He's not going to leave. I mean, where's he going to go? I'm sure
that was the vibe.
Options,
like when we're talking about that defeated vibe or like frustrated vibe, it was kind of like, yeah, I have a 5-year contract. It's like, it was like, I wish it was less. Like I'm not putting words in his own mouth. Like I think but it felt like that vibe of, it was almost like a softball where like a normal, or if you were to do the media trained thing, it's like, oh no, I love BC. I hope to get an extension. I hope to be here forever. There was like none of that. It was just very realistic. Like I have a 5-year contract. Hopefully I can turn this program around, and
it kind of made me think of, speaking of BC coaches, Jeff Hafley, who, recently became the Miami Dolphins head coach after his 3-9 year, when at his first presser back, kind of maybe it was a similar time as it is now in the year. It couldn't have been more different. It was almost as if there was like delusion because it was a lot of the team was the same, but he was so confident that that was just a blip in his run as coach at BC, and he was so confident that they were going to be better the next year, and they were better. I mean, they went 7-6, but at the time it was kind of like you just went 3-9, right? Like you're kind of you're ready to push that away and not even acknowledge it, and you're already so confident this team's going to be so much better, and I remember at the time thinking like there should be more acknowledgement of how like frustrating this is and how terribly the season went. But now we're talking about Bill, who looks, again, as you said, looks defeated. So I don't really know what the preference is for a coach, how a coach should act. But it's just interesting to see two different styles there, because it's either, Bill is probably kind of defeated. He just went 2-10, and then all his guys left, and he had to get 30, 40 new guys who he doesn't really know that well in a 2-week span, and it was chaotic. And he mentioned that BC probably does no favors with, their admissions, because you can't just be an idiot and come here. You have to have certain grades, certain credits. Guys visiting, Bill's like, it was during like the winter break, so no one's even here to show him around campus, so they had to scramble and find local guys. Like, he's probably defeated. He's probably exhausted, rightfully so. I mean, I won't knock him for, showing how he really feels, but again, it didn't instill any confidence in, I don't think, anyone.
Yeah, and again, like, I don't want to read too much into it, but it did feel like, okay, during your 2-10 season, you can't really get down. You're just like in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like after season, it's like you get a little dose of reality, and you're like, man, I just went 2-10. I lose like Reed Harris. I lose Turbo Richard. I lose my quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I'm starting from scratch. He's like, I'm going to my third year here. I'm starting from scratch. I'm trying to get the school to give me money. Like, the school now at least is like dedicated to hopefully maxing out to near that 15 million for the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of saw that with the portal, incoming players.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like, you're not in like a situation like Indiana where you have Mark Cuban giving you like a $30 million check,
No.
And so
that'd be nice though.
Like, it's tough for him to be like, if it's tough for him, then like, fans see it. Like, we see that. It's like you're kind of stuck here. And when you say time will tell, it's like it's not as positive as a no.
Like, you should know more than us. You should kind of know. Like, you should kind of know, because you brought these guys in.
Yeah, no. I'll bring up the incoming transfers real quick. I know we went a little bit into this in episode 43. But I don't know, your thoughts on this, Jack, just as far as the incoming transfers. I mean, my overall take is, okay, you brought in 27 guys. You at least got guys in every position and added depth, because, you lost 30 guys, right? So you had to do – basically, for me, you did what you had to do. Now, as far as the talent and will they be a better team, there's at least hope there, because, there's only so much – you can have hope if you retained all those 30 guys, right? So in a way, you're like, okay, at least there's a massive roster turnover where there's a chance of improving on, the previous season. But a lot of talent, a lot of question marks, and it's tough to assess this, to be honest. And I think the biggest question mark is, of course, quarterback. You bring in this guy Mason, who's probably going to be your starter. Mason McKenzie, and you're hoping. He obviously claims from that conference from that the Ole Miss transfer came from here, and you're almost like, for BC fans, you're kind of hoping, we're going to see something like that. And there's
that would be the greatest
like,
scenario of all time.
But that is kind of where we're at. That's. But your thoughts on at least the incoming transfers that are up on the screen right now?
Listen, I don't want to pull Bill O'Brien, but it is definitely kind of a wait and see type of thing. Mason McKenzie, look, hopefully, I'm not going to say it's really hard to know. He played at the Division II level. He hasn't played at this level yet. I would say one of the few things Bill seems actually confident in was Mason McKenzie's ability. And he even said, like, we're not going to play a system that he can't play. We're going to cater towards his system, which I do want to bring up. I don't know how much I buy into that, because rewind 2 years, Tommy Castellanos, that was not a system that Castellanos was good at playing at, used to playing in. There was way too much throwing when Bill took over that year. If you go back to the Hafley year with when Castellanos was probably his best version of himself in college, there was a lot of designed runs, and he kind of got away from that when Bill took over. There were not many more designed runs for Castellanos. He could have been hurt, whatever, blah blah blah. He ends up getting benched and hurt, but I mean, Bill said they're going to cater the offense towards McKenzie's strengths, and I hope he does that. I can't necessarily say I know what McKenzie's strengths are. I've seen the clip of him running. He looks like he's a large, he's a big athletic guy. But I mean, I guess we'll see. That's good to hear that Bill is willing to change things around for the quarterback. And as I know, we kind of briefly talked about, or I don't even know if we touched on this yet, but Bill will be calling plays.
I want to get into that because obviously the news broke of Will Long, but great call out though, Jack, because it was good to hear him say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna adjust and have the offense run around basically Mason's ability." Yeah. But like you said, we've seen in the past, and that's not just from Tommy Castellanos. We've seen Bill O'Brien's career where he's had issues with running quarterbacks. I mean, he famously told one of the Alabama starting quarterbacks that he should, move to running back. Remember, there isn't a history of basically him really adjusting his system of the offense too much to tailor to the quarterback. And so you like to hear that from him, but you're also very concerned because history shows that he prefers that traditional pocket passer. Is kind of empty sets and widespread using tight ends down the seams, and so huge question mark there. And I think the bigger point to what you were getting at too is, okay, Will Long's gone, and I think you gotta pump the brakes here because I think I see a lot of BC fans that are like, hey, they wanted that, and I agree with them. I think there needed to be a move from Will Long, but at the same time, I don't think it's a situation where Bill's going to be bringing in a big-time offensive mind to take over his offense. He said, whether it's on the podcast with John Meter-Perrell or even in the presser, that he's going to be running this offense. He said that flat out. So he's pretty much going to be calling the plays. So, again, if you're looking for a completely new creative offense that we haven't seen or outside of Bill's mantra, I don't think you're going to see that. I think you're going to definitely see him still want to implement the system that he's been putting into play the last 2 years. And again, you're hoping he adjusts to more what Mason's ability is, but he's going to try and fit him in there most likely. So I don't know your thoughts on that, because I think that's a huge development. Will Long leaving, but also Bill pretty much being no, I'm going to be the play caller. And
I want to call out Brett's comment here. O'Brien calling plays will either be amazing or a disaster. I couldn't agree more, Brett. That seems to be how it goes with BC in general. Things either go great or go absolutely terribly. But I think it's good that Bill O'Brien's calling plays. I think we're going to actually, because now it's you can't not blame him if things don't go well. It's okay, you're calling plays. Right. You're in charge. You're really in charge now. I mean, you already were, but now you're really in charge. And so if the offense is ineffective like it was last season, then that's going to be telling. But if it could also be great now that Bill O'Brien, a great offensive mind, has worked with, we know who he's worked with these quarterbacks. Maybe it works great, and that's what needed to happen. Bill O'Brien needed to actually be calling plays. So, but I agree that it will either work out really well or it won't work out well at all.
No, the fans agree. I mean, people are commenting they got to adapt the offensive talent. I mean, that's what they got to do. I mean, they got to do more of, if anything, though, Bill, at least Bill does understand that concept of they did that with the Patriots, right? Where it's you have a certain set of guys. Obviously, ideally, you're trying to fill the roster with guys that can do what you want. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they brought in guys that they could get to come to BC. You mentioned there's academic standards. There's all these different things. They got to, so they got the guys what they got to get. Now it's a matter of, this is your roster. Kenyatta cooked to the amount where he could cook, and this is the roster you have. Now you're the coach. You got to make this work. You got to make this work where you get, us back to bowl territory here. So, that's definitely the massive thing. I think I'm just curious, like, if they're even gonna like, is there even like a chance where they don't bring in an offensive coordinator because the Will
I
Long
think well,
situation?
I think there's a chance they maybe promote someone within. Maybe that's
Yeah,
more likely. But then again, I don't really know. They could. Bill has a lot of connections from all his years coaching. He could easily, Ted Roof was only brought in a few weeks ago, so there's still
yeah,
time to bring a guy in. It's just, yeah, if Bill is going to be calling plays, I know there's a lot of times in the NFL or college the head coach does call plays and there's still an offensive coordinator, but maybe Bill could decide, yeah, we can just promote someone within who's already been working with the offense, and yeah, I'll call the plays.
yeah. It seems to me like he had kind of what I think his ideal situation was. Like he had Will Long was with him for 13 years, and
Yeah.
he basically could just run what Bill would have run anyways.
Uh-huh.
Now you're in a situation where I think if Bill can't find either someone that he's worked with in the past that truly is gonna like execute what he wants, there's a situation where yeah, maybe the best route is where for him, and I'm not saying this is what I want. I'm saying most likely, yeah, that makes sense, Jack. Where maybe he promotes from within someone that's going to execute that understands what he's been trying to do for the last few years. But I know that's
Has
not the goal.
has any part of this crossed your mind, Mac? Because it hasn't been announced what role Will Longing is taking with the Bears. It's not like he's taking like an offensive coordinator job.
No,
What role is he? So it kind of concerns me. Does Will Longing look at this roster and look at these new guys who came in and is like, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with this. Like, I don't care that I've been with Bill O'Brien 13 years. I'm out of here. Like the 13, like, and Bill O'Brien just left with no one, and he's being forced to call plays. And that crossed my mind. What role is he taking with the Bears that's so much better? Bill O'Brien said it's a great opportunity. I know the NFL is better than college, but what role is it? It's
that's
kind of
only
surprising he would leave this late in the process. I know the Bears season just ended, but it must have been a really good position for him to leave. And that position hasn't been announced yet, from what I can tell.
to be honest, it's concerning though because like I picked up on that vibe too from the presser of him being like, I think as shocked as the BC media was, I feel like internally that was also the case. Like him taking that job, I know he was friends with the head coach of the Bears, and obviously the Bears.
Ben Johnson.
With Ben Johnson. But at the same time, it's like, why did he leave? He's been with Bill O'Brien for 13 years. You kind of look at the same thing with Burge Najarian also leaving, who was like his right-hand man at the Patriots for a while. I know he was like worked under Bill Belichick for a while, but like he lost a few of his guys, right, that are moving on to probably better situations, at least for them personally.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen obviously to a program that's on the rise, right? Like that's not and obviously I'm not kidding myself. Like, this isn't that situation here at BC. So it's honestly a true reflection, I think, of just where we're at right now. I mean, I think
he's probably like, get me out of here. Like, Bears, let's go.
you saw I mean, let's not like kid ourselves. Like last year was a disaster, right? They won one ACC, one Power 4 game. Yeah. And it wasn't that they didn't like get better, it was that they got significantly worse. Mm-hmm. And then now you have a full new roster. So again,
listen, I'm not like the changes. I'm welcoming the change. It's just the fact that it happened is worth talking about, and in the way that it happened.
Yeah, no, seriously. I think it's tough to like, and again, I think I said this from the beginning is that I pumped the brakes when you saw that number of 30 players leaving BC, because you're like, okay, at the end of the day, BC went 2-10. They really went one in whatever. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, you really only lost like a few guys that you really wanted to retain. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, like clearly the talent wasn't there, or at least the guys that Bill needed to have to run whatever his offense or defensive scheme is. Mm-hmm. So at least you have now a chance of maybe these guys being better fit. But it's just, again, it's tough to be like, okay, he at least the first 2 years had time to recruit and bring those guys in. Now it's like he only had 2 weeks to bring these guys in. Why is it that these guys would be a better fit and are going to be a massive improvement from the roster before? But I don't know. This is obviously is
no, you're totally right. I found it funny how I'm sure you heard in the presser, Bill was like, yeah, it was a 2-week thing, but Bill was like, yeah, we were doing our homework during bye weeks and things like that. So it's funny how during the weeks of the season when the pressers are going on and he's talking to you guys, Bill's like, and someone asks about recruiting, he's like, no, we're just next game, focused on next game. But in reality, he's obviously, which is a good thing. He was looking, checking these guys out, doing his research. I mean, he kind of had to be. They were losing every game, and you kind of had to look. I would hope you would be looking forward, but it's just that was just funny to me that these coaches will say these things that are obviously not true, and then tell us that they weren't true.
Yeah, just tough situation to be in, to be honest. And
totally.
You're dealing with, the bigger picture here. You're dealing with administration that at least made the bare minimum moves. Like the bare minimum in Power 4 is that you max out revenue share to the $21.5 million, and at least they're committed to that. Now,
which, by the way, Michael Thierry asking a great question. Bill O'Brien, how much money are you working with? Which Bill O'Brien declined to answer. It says it was more of a question for Blake James, which is a fair response. I would have loved for him to actually say the answer because we know he knows it. And it would also be a thing if Blake James ever has media availability. To my knowledge, and I'm pretty sure to your knowledge, he's never done a press conference like Bill O'Brien has. Yeah. Then maybe he's there when coaches are hired, but no one asks him questions. They're always to coach him. Oh, he might have had. Maybe was it last year? No, that was before a bowl game. No, I think that was Father Leahy who did some media. Yeah, I don't know if Blake James ever has. I don't want to. Don't quote me on that, but it's hard to remember.
The only media availability he had, to my knowledge, was at the last bowl game, which is at Fenway
Park. That's okay. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
it was him and Father Leahy, right? It was.
And I asked the same question. I asked the same question there.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've asked that question from Mike. That Mike asked #JustWin, like for the last 2 years.
I think you might have to get him on the show, Mac, and ask him here.
I seriously, I've literally asked him about this because it's NIL. The question of NIL, like, okay, great, you're committed to the bare minimum from what the school can commit.
Which he said there was going to be an update. I know many people have brought this up. He said in that email, in that letter, that there was going to be an update in the coming days. There has been zero update.
No, there hasn't been. And that's the biggest thing that we're calling for is transparency. Yeah. Like, we've only had the letter.
Yeah.
Again, we haven't seen any evidence or any details. I think he even mentioned, like, okay, we're going to have a $50 million like commitment to athletics beyond that, or a match for play type of thing. And we haven't seen, again,
who's matching? Like, who's matching?
I don't like, that's the question. Like, we've asked this multiple times, and I think I've asked this to Bill like multiple times. He's always given the answer. That's a question for people above me, for Blake James or for Father Jack or for the administration coming in or the administration there is now.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like, we have no access. I've asked repeatedly to get access for that, and like that's not something that just they're doing. And
I think next time you ask Bill and he gives that response, you have to be like, I've tried. They don't want to answer. So then maybe he'll answer.
That is where we're at. Like, as far as like the media goes, like, we don't like, because he's the only one giving us media availability. We have to ask that question, and that is a
fair question. And he gives a fair response. I mean, he doesn't want to be talking about money. He wants to be talking about like football.
And honestly, that is his job. He should just be dealing with that.
Is it though? Nowadays, he's also kind of a general manager.
And I would agree in a normal Power 4 situation.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with BC, it clearly comes from the administration, from the board.
No, you're right.
That's always been the issue within athletics. And until the board, or until obviously the administration or Father Jack coming in the summer, that's clearly the hope and wish that we're going to get more transparency and ability to ask these questions. But to be honest, like, don't hold your breath on that, because we haven't seen any evidence of that. And we've been promised or more transparency, more money, more announcements on this.
Yeah.
And since that letter, we haven't seen it. The only evidence is okay, we brought in 27 portal guys, so at least maybe that came from the school as far as the revenue share. But like, Jack, we've seen this across the board with all these other Power 4 schools. Look at the massive donations and the announcements. Like we have a massive donor class. We have a massive alumni. We have tons of people that are probably willing to do something similar. And you've seen no movement there. I mean,
the thing is, we don't even know if we've seen no movement because there's been no. I mean, I guess we can assume there's no movement, but maybe there was, and they just haven't told us.
I have to assume because it's like, wouldn't they announce that, right?
Yeah, you would think, but I'm not gonna assume anything, honestly, with this school.
It's very frustrating. I think that's definitely the most frustrating thing we've had to deal with the last couple of years since the portal's become a massive thing and since NIL has become a thing, and it seems like this is the first offseason BC's said, okay, we are going to deal with the reality of the portal. We're here. We're gonna actually partake in this whole thing. But now if you're doing that, you need to then back it up with financial support. And that's not just what the school's dishing out. That's what the school's getting as far as donations from big time donors. And we have not seen any announcements or transparency on that. And until that happens, you're going to have fans and media honestly need an answer on that, because if there isn't any, announcement or vision as far as that money and that financial support, it's going to be obvious to where this program is going to be. It's not going to go anywhere. You're going to continue to see us not be able to compete in our own conference. And that's just obviously not okay. It's not okay.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think we kind of touched. Yeah, that's kind of all I have on football. If you have anything else, Mac, but yeah, I think
I'll leave it on a positive note. It's like
it's a wait and see. Time will tell.
Time will tell. That was a quote from Bill. That's the takeaway. That's probably going to be the title of this podcast.
Yeah, time will tell.
But to be honest, at least you have something to tell, because
better than nothing.
If you didn't have a master turnover, you just be like, there's no time to tell. It is what it is. We're going to probably go again. So at least there's a chance of improvement here. And again, Bill's going to have an even bigger offseason. This is the massive test. It's your third year.
Mm-hmm.
You brought on all these guys.
Third year, he's calling plays.
Yep.
27 new guys. Yep. Financial commitment supposedly. Let's see what we can do here, Bill.
New coaches, all that good stuff. So, interestingly, Jack, we actually have some positive news from
impossible
back-to-back wins. Did you see that coming?
This is true. Can't say I did. Just considering the fact that before that Syracuse game, there had been, I think, 7 games where BC has lost by 10 or less points, and there had been 3 overtime games that they had all lost this season. So there had been nothing to instill any confidence in myself that they could close games. But that Syracuse game, man, I mean, against all odds, and I mean against all odds.
That's definitely the most impressive game so far this season.
It was. I mean, they don't win that game if Donald Hand, doesn't step up, which I know it's been a struggle all year. I myself have asked Earl multiple times in press conferences after games, after losses, what's going on with Donald Hand? How tough has it been this season without your best player performing at a level that he's expected to perform at? In that game, I mean, he didn't stuff the stat sheet, but he hit 2, insanely clutch threes that forced overtime, and then that overtime. Those 5 minutes were probably some of the most sound offensive possessions I've seen from that team in a long time. They were getting open dunks, open layups, great looks from 3, and Syracuse just completely collapsed. If you think our fan base can be tough, Mac, you should check out Syracuse Twitter the past few days, especially after last night's 2-point loss to Virginia Tech, because they are clamoring for their coach, Adrian Autry, to get out of there.
I saw the crash out after the BC loss, man.
It's been bad. Wouldn't want to be. It's kind of nice to not be on that side for once, where your fan base is extremely angry at the team you cover. But yeah, that Donald Hand. I mean, he completely stepped up that game, and it was another phenomenal Fred Payne performance. 26 points against Syracuse, 26, a career high. That's a lot of points. 44 minutes Like,
Yeah.
I don't think we can understate how well Fred Payne is playing. Let me give you some stats here, Mac. In the past 6 games, Fred Payne, I'll rattle off his points: 24 points, 22, 20, 26, and 18. That was 5, so excuse me. Before that, he had that 2-point performance against Georgia Tech in the first ACC game. But since then, he's been on absolute fire. And I think just BC has been able to finally unlock something. They finally realized, okay, Donald Hand, he's not going to work as the number 1 option. It's just not working. So let's shift the offense to Fred Payne. Him and Bowden Cappy have a great 2-man game going. And Donald Hand can be the second or third option where he's not expected to carry the offensive load, but he can hit big shots when needed. And he did that last night, hitting a tough mid-range shot towards the ends of the second half to, points that BC needed. And I know the game last night wasn't – I know you were there, Mac. It wasn't a thing of beauty by any means, but you can't fault them for winning. You just can't.
Yeah, I was at the game last night. Conti, Wednesday night,
how's the crowd?
Okay.
Good crowd?
Okay crowd. I mean, the lower seats were semi-filled.
Yeah.
Some momentum from the Syracuse win. But it was a weird, a typical BC game. It wasn't there was moments clearly of, oh man, you see glimpses of what this team can be.
Yeah,
but
totally.
For the most part, you're seeing just lapses and mental mistakes and they get going and then they just stop doing what got them to go on a roll here, right? It just makes no sense why they continue to struggle in stretches when they were doing so well before. And I mean, just look at the beginning of the second half of that game and where they just completely fell flat on the defensive end. At the same time, you got to give it to them. The defense overall has been probably the most consistent part of this team. And that's what allows them, I think, to stay in some of these games where I think, you're a little more confident now of, okay, maybe they can squeeze out a few more ACC wins, catch a few teams, make the tournament. But it's a weird place to be. It's hey, BC basketball has won back-to-back games and you're still you're still
no, it doesn't fix any major issue with the team or the vision or the future of the program. It's more so just okay, that was nice, that was good.
Fun. It's fun to win.
That was good. I mean, and credit to those players. I mean, they could have easily been checked out if they've had some really, really bad losses this year, losses that I don't even know how they lost because they were up so much late and then somehow blew the lead. But these players are still with it, man. They still they're not checked out. They haven't given up on their coach. I know that's a line people love saying. They've quit on their coach. These players have not quit on Earl Grant. I'll tell you that, because there's been opportunities to totally quit, and sometimes it's oh, did they quit? You look at that Clemson game, you lost by 24, but no, right, next game that Syracuse game, and then that game last night. Listen, it helps that Pitt missed 10 free throws, and it helps that Pitt also couldn't make a layup to save their lives. I mean, you saw some of those layups that Pitt was missing.
It was bizarre.
That was I think a middle school team could have made more layups than that. That was
BC
is extremely fortunate for that, and I'll give some credit to their defense, of course, but it was not beautiful basketball. I know you were there, so you weren't listening, but I was at home listening and watching.
Yeah,
Jim Boeheim was on the call, and so you can imagine how that went. He was ultra positive about those two teams. No, I'm kidding. He was letting everyone know how ugly that basketball was. Because
it was an ugly game. It was an ugly game, and
Earl Grant even said that after the game. He's it wasn't our best game. We all knew it. It's fair.
And I mean, the positive is that you got to give credit to the players. They stuck with it. I mean, honestly, Bowden and Fred, that combination there, they found.
Yeah, shout out Bowden Cappy. I mean,
that's the Capke game.
19 points, career high. Doesn't even
game winner.
I mean, that what a call, by the way, from that last play. I mean, I know historically BC has struggled on final possessions. Sometimes not even getting a shot off, but that final possession last night, I mean, it perfectly executed. I think Earl mentioned that it wasn't the exact play they wanted to run, but Fred saw a lane, but then saw that Bowden was open behind the line. Great over the head pass. I don't know how he even did that right to him, and Bowden knocked down the 3.
That is their offense, though. That's what they need to consistently
drive and kick. That's all they need to do.
drive and kick. It's like they have the players for that, and you can see
We got to do that.
that when they do that, it can be beautiful. But I think at the end of the day, they made enough plays to get the W. It was nice to get that W at Conti.
Yeah, they could go for 3 in a row here, Mac. They got a game against Notre Dame on Saturday. Notre Dame
on the road, right?
They're not. Yeah, they're nothing special. Well, those BC, Notre Dame, they're both at the bottom of the ACC. So,
we got to maintain our. I believe we're the number 1 Catholic school in the ACC right now. We got to maintain that standing. Honestly, standings look nice. We're not at the bottom here. So
no, we're not. We're not even bottom 2. Are we even? I think we're the 4th worst.
Fourth or 5th from last. So, that would be huge to get
4th from last. Yeah, we're headed Notre Dame, Florida State, and Pitt. If
they can get their first road conference win, I mean that'd be massive because and then the next game at home I believe is UVA, and they've been cooking. So
they've been great.
Yeah, Notre Dame. That's a winnable game, and that's why I was at the Pitt game. It was nice to be there back in person because I was away for a while. But it was it's a lot. There's no consistency, so it's tough to even have an opinion sometimes on the game.
Hard. It's hard.
Like it's sloppy. The defense looks incredible. The defense looks horrible. The offense looks great. The offense looks horrible. I mean, that's what you're going to get.
There's always the 2-minute stretch where they can't score. There's always the part where the other team can't miss a shot. We had both of those last night. But that's kind of just the BC Earl Grant experience. There's some things they do really well, and there's some things that are just going to happen every single game. I mean, listen, people knock on Earl for not calling timeouts. And it was the first 31 seconds of the second half yesterday. BC had immediate 2 turnovers, Earl timeout right away. And I think that was important. It didn't help that much because Pitt couldn't miss a shot after that. But listen, this team's
but even fighting. Jack, like towards the end of the first half, I was like, Earl just ate a bunch of timeouts. Yeah. But then beginning of the second half,
he didn't really need them though.
He called timeouts at the right time. So it's like even he's not. I mean, again, this is probably where it all comes from. It's like there isn't a consistency there, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like they still haven't found their identity, but this has been like 3 years now.
And it's just, I mean, the team doesn't have the most talent. I mean, we know that. We all watch the team. It's the identity is they need Fred Payne to play really well, which he has been, and they need someone else to step up. Last night it was Bowden, and I think him and Fred have something really nice going. If both those guys can have that consistency every game, then you have Donald Hand as the third option. It doesn't help that Jaden Hastings had 4 fouls, 0 points early on in the second half yesterday. Because when him and Bowden play well together, it's a nice sight to see. But again, the team's obviously not that deep. Caleb Steger, he's a lot of raw potential, but it's just not really there right now. Aiden Shaw, super athletic, pretty solid defender, but you saw yesterday, the ball gets kicked out to him on the 3-point line. He's not taking that shot. He actually did shoot a 3 yesterday, but it almost went in. But he's not really a threat from 3. And then obviously Luka Taze, he's been pretty solid this season. I mean, I'm not going to knock him too much. He's obviously a smaller guard, so he kind of gets pushed around on defense and hasn't been really closing. He starts over Chase Forte, but hasn't really been closing games in the ACC matchups, which I like because even though Forte has his offensive limitations, big three last night, but offensive limitations. His defense is ACC caliber defense. So Taze brings a nice spark on offense. But the team isn't super deep. They probably have 4 or 5 guys who can play a lot of ACC minutes, but the bench is kind of thin, which makes it tough when you're playing these games every few days and you're playing these teams that are really, really deep.
It does seem like that though. Like for BC to win, you need like 1 or 2 of the guys have their best game. You know what I mean?
You need. You're not wrong.
And I think, and again, it's like talent and roster. It's the same issue that we have with football, right? It's like not just retaining talent, but it's not about retaining talent anymore. It's about bringing in talent here. And you have college basketball now in a very weird situation where, okay, a lot of programs now are not only just going after the portal, but they're going after people in the G League and they're going after people in the Euro leagues. And it's really freaking bizarre, but that is the reality. And honestly, it's a question. It's a massive question mark for BC because it seems like they're light years away from that being a thing that they would be involved with, right? And
you're right. I also don't even necessarily fault them for being like, we're not taking a G League player because like
I mean that's
it's
insane.
That's just insane. I have some standards, all right, but you said it's not about retention, but it's like, okay, I think it is in terms of you need to retain the guys who deserve to be retained. Fred Payne and Bowden Kapke need to be back next season. I saw Brett tweet this earlier today. Those two guys, and I truly think they will be back if they should be back because I truly think they both love this school. You can see it. You can see how enthusiastic they both are. You just can't. It kind of radiates. Can't say I saw the same thing from all those football players, but those two, I think they really love the school. Just the financial commitment needs to be there. As we've said, we don't know because it's not
a massive. It's crazy that I was saying it's a question mark outside of the money that the school's committing, but even the max revenue share. Like when you talk about the 21.5, what if that 21.5 is going to football and what is it going to basketball and what is it going to hockey? Like, what are the numbers? Like, it's pretty clear in a lot of programs. Like, okay, 50. Like football usually maxed out around 15. Basketball gets about 5, and then the other sports get the other million. Right?
Yeah.
Is that where BC is? Because like
who knows?
If they're not,
we might never know.
I mean, probably we'll never know. Most likely.
But yeah, those two guys. If Fred and Bowden, if they come back, that would be huge. Just because. And I mean, Fred is playing right now at an all-time BC level right now. He's averaging about 20 a game the past 5 games. If he keeps that up, I mean, without him, BC's offense it won't be good without him. Without those two,
I mean, stick to what's working, right? Like, just keep
exactly
doing what was working offensively, and then just hope your defense can keep you in games where you can. Hey, they made a set play game-winning shot, right? So It's like. Maybe we're over the hump. Maybe we're over the hump with that sort of thing. But I don't know.
Earl's also frustrated with. I mean, you heard him yesterday. He's also frustrated with the roster turnover. He's like, yeah, I mean, we have 8 new guys. How am I supposed to know how they can all play with each other?
And he clearly is still figuring that out.
Two sides here. Earl, it is your job to do that. Like, you have to figure that out. But then again, I mean, it is probably tough. He doesn't know these guys that well, and he has to play a bunch of all these new players.
It took him till this game to be like. Honestly, the last couple of games to be like, all right, I start Luka, get the offensive rolling, and then I'm ending
offense through Payne, start Hastings and Kapke, run plays for Kapke, like a lot of plays. Yeah. That's. Do we think Earl is back next year? We got a question.
So we talked about this a little bit before we started the show, but
I think so. I think so. I mean, unless something goes terrible. I know the season hasn't gone great. But unless something goes really, 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 really wrong, I don't see how BC makes any changes just because obviously they're known for not making any changes, number one. Number two, it's not like his contract is up or anything. And number three, if they continue to win these type of games that they're, quote unquote, supposed to win or can win, like let's say they beat Notre Dame, then beat Florida State later in the year, pick up maybe 1 or 2 other wins against teams they weren't supposed to beat, how can you fully justify getting rid of him? That's kind of my thought process because again, all the players love him. You can tell that they play hard for him.
Years does he have? I know Bill has 3 more years on his contract. How many more years does Grant have on his contract?
I don't want to say the wrong number. This is his 5th year with the program, and I know in year 2 he signed a 2-year contract extension.
Yeah, right.
So maybe he has 2 or 3 more left. I think.
Right. I'm in the same boat as you though, because I was thinking after that, we won 2 in a row. I was like, hey, this is like a foreseeable path where BC is able to pick up a few more wins, and then you say BC, makes the ACC tournament and they win a game or 2, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
he's done that before. He's won ACC tournament games before.
BC's going to hold on to him. That's the situation.
Yeah.
And as a someone that follows the team and is a fan of the team as well, like I'm not rooting against that, but you're at the same time you're just looking at the full future of the program, and if from all the evidence to this point, you're like, I don't think Earl is that guy that's going to get this program to the next level. So you're in a weird situation now where it's, I don't know, the season kind of feels like it's pulling, as far as fans go, in weird, like, how do you feel about it? You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah, no, totally.
you have fun with the wins, but then you're also like, man, like, are we going to continue to just be this team that like wins a few?
But it's also like, how much can you even blame Earl if this team has no funding and they can't get players that they need to get at this level? I mean, that's also part of
That's
this.
also true. And if you brought another big name head coach, would they be able to do it that much more? I agree, but it's honestly,
there's a lot of factors. It's not just it's not just wins or losses or the product on the court anymore. There's 1,000 other things that go into it that I think they'll probably consider when they're thinking about next year. But I think it's pretty safe to say he'll be back. It just really, it doesn't seem like they'll make him, unless it's a situation where it's like, I don't know. I don't even know. Jared Dudley's like, I want to be the coach. That's not happening. So, like,
yeah, and I'm not like necessarily, I'm not on that boat, to be honest. And
and listen, it's hard to not think about, like, there's so many games this year that BC should have won. They had that win against FAU in the first game. They lost in OT against Tulane and LSU. There's been they could be a solid above 500 team right now. It's just that they can't finish games. They haven't been able to finish games at all in the Earl era. Maybe these past 2 games can finally flip a switch, but I think that's why it's so frustrating, because there's been so many heartbreaking losses. There's been so many things that seem like they should happen one way, but then it happens another way. And again, when there's no upwards improvement after, I know there was the first three years, but now it's kind of tailing off. It's hard for people to get on board, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's entirely one person's fault.
It's kind of hard. It's heartbreaking for me because I obviously remember the days of when Conti was just rocking.
Yeah,
and you had all Skinner teams, and honestly, for the fans and for the students too, like, they only get to really experience that Conti vibe when hockey plays, and it just hurts that that's the only avenue really for fans to kind of like get excited. And you look at football, and there's a lot of history there. You look at basketball, there's a lot of history there, and it's been like decades now since they've been a successful program. And look at the comment here. It's like, how many programs are bad this year? It's not just this year. It's been a while, and you're starting to think like, and it's not just the men's basketball team. It's like, look at the women's basketball team. They're not even able to be competitive. And so you're seeing it across the athletic department that they're not able
Women's
to.
is a whole other story. I don't know if we can even get into that right now.
But that's another example of just the inability to support, whether it's financial support or structure, whatever it is, bringing in the right coaches, the right players to compete at the Power 4 level. And it's going to be more and more pain and more obvious the more we're in this situation where a lot of these sports are now considered professional sports. Like, that's the reality. And you're now paying players. So there really is less of an excuse from a administration standpoint, because you're the ones funding and paying and bringing in players and bringing in coaches. So it fully is a reflection of what you are doing internally. Right. And I don't know, that's, to be honest, where you're at. And you have so many programs now outside of, honestly, hockey and women's lacrosse that are in this situation. And I think it wasn't until the Syracuse game, there was not a single win in 2026 from any of the programs. And it's just
that's scary.
It's just not a good situation. But
I think we have to have a conversation with Blake James. I think that's kind of the conclusion of our podcast here.
Yeah, I'll continue.
A lot of questions, and there's many answers to be had here.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely continue asking the school if I can talk to him.
We would love to hear from him. We just want to know. A lot of people want to know.
Please.
Yeah, this is the best place to come on and let people know what's going on with BC sports.
Yeah, my man. Jack, honestly, that's kind of where we're at. I think that was a good dive where
I think we covered a lot.
BC Athletics is right now.
Yeah.
When's the Notre Dame game coming up? It's
Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I believe.
Awesome. So we got a road game, South Bend.
Yep.
Catholic rivalry. Got to win that game. Holy War. I believe the following Saturday is UVA, so I'll be at that game.
Any more Bill O'Brien pressers coming up, or just is the next one until spring game?
I was happy that I just got that availability.
Yeah,
got the availability this week. Hopefully, this follow up. I know there are a few football announcements. Is he did announce spring ball will start after spring break.
Mhm.
I don't know if Jack, know exactly when spring break is this year, but
I don't. As no
it's
longer
like the first week in March.
Usually when it is.
Yeah. So basically, right after spring break is when spring ball will. So I'm hoping there'll be availability for me to go attend.
There definitely will be. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll obviously report when that comes around, and then I believe Monday we'll report on this on Eagles Daily. But I believe Monday the full schedule comes out for football.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we'll dive into that next episode.
Yeah.
And have some maybe we'll have a Delulu episode if we want to get a little into that a little bit.
Some predictions.
But yeah, so that's really the only updates I got coming.
Awesome.
Coming up.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for having me, Mac. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks, Jack. We'll have you on next week, and we'll dive in a little bit more. Eagles Weekly, episode 44, brought to you by EaglesDaily.com. I know Jack just wrote a great recap article on the basketball.
Yeah, check it out.
Win. So go to our outlet, EaglesDaily.com, and check that out. And please subscribe and all that good stuff on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. And go Eagles.
Yep. Peace out.